Good morning, Ching. Hope you guys are doing good today. Oh, all right, I'm on the wrong side. There we go. That's better. Yeah, NASDAQ all the way back down to 25,000. We did have Tesla earnings yesterday. The market did react negatively to Tesla earnings. Tesla is now down from about 438 to about 424 for earnings. This is after Netflix earlier this week also had not good reactions and really kind of pulled the market down. Netflix, Tesla both pulled the market down. We did have some earnings that dropped this morning. But yeah, negative reaction to market earnings. We had Puma. JP Morgan expects to see gold price reaching an average of 5,055 by Q4 of next year. Get Mobileye, American Airlines. American Airlines posted 17-cent loss per share, revenue of 13.7 billion. CBRE. Dude, I woke up this morning and the bottom right part of my lip is swollen. I don't know what happened. I might have bit it. I don't know. Kind of weirded me out a little bit. All right. What's up, chat? CPI Friday. Yeah, CPI is big. That's gonna be tomorrow, so y'all be ready for that. That's huge. So what's going on today? Again, the market is dealing with significant volatility following two of the big earnings reports we've seen this week. Tesla plunges down after earnings is down 3.5% in pre-market following its Q3 release yesterday. Tesla beat revenue expectations, delivered a record number for vehicles, but missed estimates for non-GAAP EPS, which was 50 cents versus 56 cents expected. Margins are still pretty critical for Tesla, so a lot of people didn't like that. Aggressive price cuts made to drive volume, especially against Chinese rivals, and higher R&D tariff costs resulted in a drop in the gross margin, down 18%. Outlook, so investors are still looking at outlook. Netflix also released earnings this week, missed EPS by a big number. They said it was from a 600 million Brazilian tax change, which led to a 10% drop yesterday in Netflix. So NASDAQ was close to, highs, all-time highs on the NASDAQ, around 25,400s. It's now at 25,000 even. We're right at this 25,000 level, a big psychological level, I think. Nvidia's down under 180s today. Yeah, a bunch of smaller earnings released this morning. We had American Airlines BDPS beat revenue, T-Mobile BDPS beat revenue, Honeywell BDPS beat revenue, Nokia BDPS beat revenue, Blackstone BDPS missed revenue, Hasbro BDPS beat revenue, Dover BDPS beat revenue, Dow Chemical BDPS missed revenue, Valero BDPS beat revenue, PG&E Company Corporation BDPS missed revenue, Tractor Supply BDPS missed revenue. A lot of misses in revenue today, to be honest, this morning. There's a ton of earnings as well, but yeah. Yeah, my leg did fine. It's really more. Again, I woke up this morning. I ate. I don't know if you guys have ever had Korean hot pot, but I ate that yesterday. And I know there was one time I ate some, and it was still really, really hot. And maybe my lip is just swollen from that, but it's weird. Maybe I bit it in the middle of the night. I don't really know. But the right side, this part of my lip right now, definitely bigger than the left side. President making an announcement at 3 p.m. Hopefully they're getting the government resumed. I don't think they are, but yeah, IBM had earnings. They're down too. They're down to 267. Yeah, earnings didn't look good. Oh, I don't think they look very good. Yeah, lots of misses for revenue. That's what I'm showing here. We're holding over that 25,000 level. I almost want to buy this though, either way, but I think I'm just gonna wait. Again, the shutdown is now 23 days long, which is effectively second longest in history and the longest full shutdown. The congressional stalemate over healthcare subsidies still unbroken. The most anticipated event is the delayed September CPI report, now scheduled for release tomorrow. And again, we're going to cover that. Y'all be ready. The USDA is reopening some county office to help farmers access aid, illustrating the piecemeal, limited approach to mitigating the shutdown's impact. Crypto market is fragile. If we take a look at Bitcoin, it's up a little bit this morning. Good. President reiterated a 155% tariff threat on China imports starting November 1st if they don't reach a deal as well. And so that's kind of a big thing. Current administration is reportedly preparing to respond to China's rare earth export curbs by planning restrictions on U.S. software-powered products shipped globally to Beijing. Analysts warn this measure could affect everything from jet engines, laptops, global supply chains. The administration, they say they essentially hope for a fair deal, but yeah, uncertain. And again, they're supposed to have a meeting with the Chinese president Xi and U.S. president. Yeah, sometimes when you're right, you're just right. And Beyond Meat fell all the way back down. It was at basically $9 a share. It's now at $2.90. Fell 60 whatever percent down, 65%, 60 down. Not a shock. I told you guys this was never gonna hold. Right? It's like picking up pennies in front of a train track. Like, you might be able to ride it on the upside, but you better not be holding it when it drops. Very predictable. I mean, I've seen this a bunch. I think there's this new generation of traders that have just never seen this before, never seen moves like this before. So sometimes I trade gold. Yeah, I sometimes trade gold. All right, yeah, a lot of misses for revenue for these earnings. I'm taking a look at all these earnings. A lot of misses for revenue. Yeah, a lot of misses. All right, so yeah, misses. Who missed? Wait a minute, this isn't from yesterday. Yesterday, AT&T dropped already. I think I caught this thing. Okay, there's American Airlines. Yeah, American Airlines. BDPS, T-Mobile BDPS, Honeywell BDPS, Nokia BDPS. Blackstone missed missed revenue. Hasbro. We got a bunch of misses actually. Yeah, I have to look at the odds. If we take a look at yields this morning, I looked at them a little bit already. Yield's sitting at 3.991% right now, which means on a daily perspective, yields are up from where they were yesterday. Almost back up to 4%. Not quite there yet if you take a look at them. Here's yields. 3.991%. Take a look at rate cut odds. And again, I think tomorrow's CPI inflation report is going to move this. It's at 97%. It's basically unchanged. They haven't really been moving. I think the whole market's waiting for this week. Nasdaq over 25,000. I was really thinking about buying this dip. I don't know how much speed of the move there's going to be in something like this, but I was genuinely thinking about buying it. See if we just hold over 25. Nothing yet. We had Nokia, Honeywell drop. They all did okay though. Valero, Auto Nation. Bit of a bear flag here. Yeah. Oil right now? How's oil doing? I'm assuming oh wow. Yeah. I gotta take my intuition. I thought about buying oil. I thought oil looked cheap. I know there's a couple people here that bought oil as well. I should have bought it. Yeah, I could bend my leg. Now chat. I could bend my leg. I'd love to see it. I could actually bend my knee. I was gonna buy the dip short-term day trade here. We're over 25,000. Big psychological level. Makes sense. Also, for a while, ChatGPT was doing good at like summarizing like what's going on. Gemini's getting better at this too, so I'm now using it. Oh. Yeah, the president's making an announcement 3 o'clock Eastern. I don't know if I want to buy another dip to the 25K though. We already got a bounce. I don't know if we're gonna get one again. Looks like everybody's ready for the shutdown to end. Yeah, I think they'll be trying to end it sometime soon. 23. Tesla being over 400 after essentially moving. It is. Yeah, maybe. Oh, dude, I can move my knee. Hold on. The pressure now is only coming from how tight this. Play that one call. Super weird to move my knee. Yeah, I mean, it says I'm not dropping any frames, so if you're getting some shuddering, it might be on your end, pawn. Speaking of pawn, me Tractor Supply Company had some numbers. They missed revenue, I'm pretty sure. Wait, when is Microsoft earnings? Not today, is it? Yeah, today we got Intel earnings at 4 p.m. I'm wondering how that's gonna. You watching the Aspinall fight? Of course. Yeah. We have like high, what is it, polyphenol olive oil that we use pretty regularly as like a supplement almost, like imported from Europe. I think it's imported from somewhere in the Mediterranean, but I might be wrong. There might be some, but it's supposed to have high polyphenol, which is supposed to help you live longer. So we have like that as a supplement. Might be a gimmick, but we try it anyway. It can't be really bad for you, I think. Marco, you're wrong. I don't think Gon is gonna beat Aspinall. I don't think there's a shot. I mean, I think there's a chance. I think it's low. Yeah, Nasdaq's just not moving here. And again, the big story of the day, or the big story of the week this week, guys, outside of like economic macro headwinds and politics and government shutdown, the big story is negative reactions to big tech Mag 7 earnings. We had Tesla yesterday down earnings. Tesla missed EPS. Netflix missed EPS. They both missed EPS. And they're both down significantly. None of them beat EPS in revenue, so they didn't beat anything. Most of them missed, or they didn't beat EPS. Both of them missed EPS, and now they're negative. They're down. They're reacting negatively to it. We saw it in Netflix earlier in the week. Netflix dropped pretty big percentages here. If you take a look at Netflix, Netflix is now down to almost 1,100. It was at 1,250. Tesla, here's Tesla in the top middle. It was at almost 450. It's down to 425s. So, on a percentage basis, down. Not the biggest reaction for Tesla, to be honest. Even the earnings response didn't give us the biggest reaction. EPS is margins. It's how profitable the company is. It stands for earnings per share, just for everybody at home that might not understand this. It stands for EPS, earnings per share. It's margins. Revenue is kind of like the ceiling potential, how much money they're bringing in. EPS or margins. So if it's a negative number, they're losing money. Positive number, they're making money. Yeah, and this is what's dragging markets down. We also, again, we got stuff going on overseas. President has been talking this week about China relations. Besant's been talking about China relations, export restrictions in China, causing fears. The president's retaliating, threatening 155% tariff on Chinese imports starting on the 1st of November, which again is in about a week and a day. Next Friday will be the 31st. First will be Saturday. If we don't get a deal done, threatening 155% tariffs on Chinese imports. He also reportedly preparing to respond to their rare earth exports by restrictions on U.S. software-powered products, which would mean like jet engines, laptops, all kind of stuff, which would disrupt global supply chains. They still want a fair deal, though, is what they're coming out and saying. They still want a fair deal. We'll see what happens. I hope they get a deal done. I don't necessarily want issues on that front. I don't, obviously I don't want that. And nobody should really here. Let's do a poll. Will we get a deal done with China for November 1st? Honestly, I really genuinely think it's low probability unless he's going to announce it today. There's the poll. Gold back up a little bit to 41.20s. So it dipped a little bit on the 20th, back up some to the top of the last 2-day range here. Look how slow the NASDAQ is, guys. We've been, honestly, during all this stuff, we've been making pretty good money here. If you want to see like my if you want to see like my stats here, it's been pretty good. I mean, look, it's been pretty good. Here is my P&L graph since the beginning of, roughly right around the beginning of October. Pretty good. Did I lose money? I must have lost a little bit of money on this account yesterday. But here's one account. I'll show you all 3 of my accounts. Or really, I've got 5 right now, but I'll show you whichever ones I've traded. Here's one of them. Not bad. I'll take this. That's good. You can see my profit and loss. So on this account, we've had 2 losing days out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 out of 8 losing days. Roughly 75% daily accuracy there. That's good. We'll see if that continues, but that's one account. Got another account here. And again, we're doing pretty good in this one as well. It's been a little bit sketchier, I would say, but we're still green. Figure out. Made money last week. Alright, we got too many funded accounts. I gotta kind of figure out which ones I've been trading and which one I haven't. But yeah, we've been doing pretty good. Trying to find it till just October 1st. There we go. All right, I found it. Sheesh, it took me long enough to do it. All right. I mean, even if we look at all my wins and losses on this account, here's the beginning of October. Had 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days traded on this one. We've had 3 losing days. And most of the losing days were small, so I've been keeping the losses small here, which is good. I'll have to figure out the other one, but yeah, we've been doing pretty good. We've been making money, so. Yes, Sam, where are you? You're in Italy, right? Do I have that wrong? I think it's Italy, right, Sam? Sorry, don't mean to. I don't know where mine's imported through. I feel like mine's imported. Don't get me wrong, it's expensive, not cheap, right? This olive oil is not cheap at all. But it's like super high polyphenol olive oil. So it's supposed to like, you're supposed to just take a little sip of it every day, right? You take a little gulp of it, and it's supposed to be like good for your circulation, good for your heart. So, okay, got you. A nice 5. I think the volatility's been good, and this is why, like, okay, look, I have a very easy rule set for buying big levels, right? Like you'll hear me talk about this a lot. Like I will buy a big level pullback. So like if we dip under this and don't hold and then rebound over, I might buy this little dip and look for a bounce up here. You know, and it's easy to see it in hindsight, just to clarify, but I might do that. If it retests it immediately, like if it comes all the way back down here and retests it, I do not buy this dip. Why? Because once we break under it, it's less likely we're going to hold the second time. And if we do break under it, we can really break down and just squeeze. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not usually targeting that. But there's a reason I always kind of say I don't really buy the second like test of it. Second, third, fourth test of it. I'm just not interested in buying that up. It just doesn't make sense to me to do that. So. Yeah. Well, we can watch 75. We're under 25,000. I think that's a big psychological level. You probably will. What happens there, but yeah, it's definitely downtrending, Sam, for sure. If my lip goes down, dude, I'm honestly kind of weirded out by my lip. All right, so U.S. trade rep Greer on China trade says makes sense to talk, but we'll see. Quantum still something to short. Where's Rigetti at this morning? Rigetti's still down from. I mean, we're pulling back some though. We got Rigetti. What do we got? We got QBTS. They're all looking very similar here. I mean, what are they down? They are down about 50%, or no? They're down about, what is that? About 30%. Yeah, I mean, super high valuation. Super high valuation. And we just don't have any. The problem is that quantum is still so young that even if it is that next big technology, it might be a long ways out. You know what I mean? Until real commercial use, which is the grower, like which is the driver of growth a lot of the time, is actually here and widely used. You know? So it's an early bet. It's an early bet. Now, big risk, big reward, but I think some of that reward's already paid out, and I think people are not going to want to necessarily sit on this and let the normal volatile fluctuations happen from a really early technology. You know? And again, quantum, we've talked about this. Quantum is essentially a really fast computer, just to really dumb it down. What it really does, your normal computers run and they process things in order. It seems simultaneous to us because they do it quickly. Quantum processes things, again, this is a really simplified version of it. Quantum processes things, essentially, they have something called superposition, which allows them to process things simultaneously, like all at the same time. And this allows them to compute things and solve things and figure things out and compile things much, much faster. Much, much faster. But they're really fragile. They break a lot. They have errors, you know, and it's still really, really early. Really, really early. Now it could be the future of technology, but it's still so early that, again, full commercial use of them that's widely accepted and used is a far way out. Yeah, we talk about it. Yeah, love it. If you guys see how I interact with my daughter, a lot of dad jokes. You know, what's the point if I'm not gonna just bug my daughter with dad jokes? Could be an allergic reaction. I mean, it could be. That's honestly what I was worried about. I think there's low odds that it is, though. You know, I think there's low odds that it's an allergic reaction. I would think it's more likely that I went to Korean I went to Korean hot pot yesterday. Put a piece of meat into my mouth a little bit too early after it came out the pot, and burned my lip on the right side. You know, I think that's probably what happened, and I just didn't realize it until I woke up this morning. How, you know, I think it was maybe a little numb afterwards, and I just didn't realize it until this morning. I think that's probably what happened. You know, I mean, I would think the odds of that not being why my lip is swollen are pretty low, right? Correlation is there. I think it makes sense. But I appreciate the worry. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. You know. All right, look at this 975 level, bro. Honestly, it's surprising how easy finding support and resistance is in stocks and finance and futures. It's surprisingly how easy it is. If you guys see me, I'm like, hey, watch this level right here. Where do we go? We go down to that freaking level and bounce. It's surprisingly easy. The market just moves in quarter numbers. You know? We got 25,000. Obviously, the market's paying attention to that. We got 975 right underneath it. We got 950 right here. Pretty simple, to be honest. But it works. And if you find these levels with also confirmation, like, look, here's 25. 25's right here. Look at this. You know? Surprisingly simple. But you can find where markets might bounce on those levels. The only thing is that if it doesn't work, you gotta bail out. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Nothing here is financial advice. You can't guarantee anything. But yeah, NASDAQ starting to fall down. Korean hot pot is good too. I think I like the barbecue a little bit more, but the hot pot is good. What's up, Douglas? Hope you're doing good, man. All right, NASDAQ now under 975s. Here's 950 below us. We're starting to fall down here. Union Pacific, Greer on China trade says it makes sense to talk, but we will see. That happened earlier today. Union Pacific, UNP, EPS is 301. They expected 3, revenue of 6.2. They expected 6.24. They missed EPS and revenue for Union Pacific. Yeah, you cook it yourself. Again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I mean, y'all got me, what, 70 likes? All right, now we're retesting 975. We'll see if that level holds. Again, the president's supposed to make an announcement at 3 o'clock. Ooh, see what he says. Again, looking at our poll numbers, does the U.S. get a deal done with China before November 1st? 40% say yes. 60% say no. I'm in Texas. In the Woodlands, Texas. All right, guys, we're back up over 975. We can look at 25,000 here. I think 25,000 is the biggest level in the NASDAQ. You take a look at the SPY here. Again, Netflix is down, Tesla's down. The big story of the last few days is that Netflix and Tesla missed EPS by pretty big numbers. They did not like it. Markets didn't like it. We are now down effectively over the last day. Tesla earnings yesterday evening, and then we had Netflix earnings the day before. Bank of America upgraded IBM to 315. Yeah, IBM at 268. My water bill? Y'all bullish or bearish on my water bill? Figure it out. I mean, it's still the last bill y'all looked at. It's $500. Yeah, market's reacting negatively to earnings. IBM is down, Tesla's down, Netflix is down. The biggest earnings of the week are down. Now, next week is when we get a lot of the big ones. And we had some this morning. A lot of misses in EPS revenue this morning. A lot of misses in revenue, I should say, because that's where most of them miss. But we are having, like, Tesla, obviously, is down big from this, down to 422s. Yeah, just markets are down. Again, we're supposed to have jobless claims, but it's not coming out today, unfortunately. I think we did get some data for jobless claims that showed it was about 225,000. Home sales, 4.06 million. What's up, Davey? Anything big at 8:30? Nah, man. The government shut down, brother. Tomorrow, yes. Tomorrow we got CPI inflation data, 8:30 Eastern time. Gold's falling down a little bit. I want to see if we get back under this 975 level. Yeah, we got CPI inflation data tomorrow for the first time in a long time. So that'll be market moving for sure. Yeah, CPI is tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to stream that like we always do. Are you bullish or bearish with CPI tomorrow? I really don't know. I think the CPI expectations look a little high to me. That could be good or bad because, you know, high expectations could mean it's easier for us to beat it. Come in lower for CPI, which is inflation data, or it can mean the opposite. And so Both year over year and core CPI is expected at 3.1% tomorrow. That's kind of high. It's over 3%. Not necessarily a good look for inflation, and so hopefully we come in lower than that, and that opens the door to more rate cuts. I think is what kind of the market wants. That's what the market's kind of looking for. But yeah, I think expectations for inflation look high. 3.1% for year over year headline and core. I don't think that's good. But it might make it easier for us to beat it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what tomorrow looks like. Gold's kind of falling down a little bit right now if you look at it. Not really a big move, but gold dipping down a little bit here. Gold's been volatile, sure. Yeah, Quantum's been reacting negatively the last like week or so. BTS, Rigetti, a lot of other ones are down. No, this is a 1 minute chart. Although I look at a different chart that I use like a 5 minute one most of the time. Yeah, tomorrow's a big day. All right, so now we're breaking down under 975 here on the NASDAQ. All right, guys, we are at 969s right now. Still falling. I'm watching 24,950. Tesla's falling down. It's at 421s. Get Tesla right here. Gold's down. SPY is down. Netflix down. Nvidia down. Under 180s. Nvidia's under 180s here too. So I think that's a bad sign for Nvidia as well. I don't think it's necessarily good. Still looking for market updates this morning, though. Mexico retail sales showed up. Who do y'all want to win? The Dodgers or the Blue Jays? Look, I know the Blue Jays are Canadian, but I want them to win. I want Vlad Guerrero to win a series. I do like Shohei, but the Dodgers are almost too good. They're almost turning into the Yankees, you know. All right, guys, I'm looking at data that might come out today. We're supposed to have existing home sales, but I think that data is already out. I also think jobless claims kind of showed up. Tomorrow we actually have CPI. Again, CPI expected at 3.1% year over year for core and headline, 0.3% for core month over month, and 0.4% for headline. So yeah, headline CPI expected to go up from 2.9 to 3.1% year over year, 0.4% month over month. Core expected to stay the same, but yeah, I'm rooting for the Jays. LA's, you know, they're just too good. I like Shohei, you know, though. I want Shohei to get another ring, you know. But the Blue Jays are the smaller market cap team. They're doing a lot more with a lot less. I mean, they still got what? Don't they still have Bichette? I haven't been watching baseball. Do they still have Bichette? Yeah, they got Bichette, Springer. Yeah, Springer, man. Everybody the Astros trade should have never traded George Springer. Should have never traded him. We should have never traded Kyle Tucker either. I don't know why we got rid of Kyle Tucker. Now he's in the freaking Cubs. Got rid of George Springer. Now he's in the World Series. Just bad decisions. CPI is going to be just off. Yeah, I mean the Nasdaq is falling down some, and we do have a lot of bearishness. Again, Netflix, Tesla down. All right, so Dina Poli says New York State will vote against Musk compensation. We want Wall Street jobs to stay in New York. Also, Redfin just reported that mortgage rates are dropping to near 3-month lows. Redfin reporting mortgage rates dropping to near 3-month lows. We'll see how long it takes these things to come back. Sorry, I gotta kind of mess with my knee. I'm like picking it up and dropping it. All right, we're still testing the lows here, guys. Still testing lows of the day here. Nasdaq at lows are 805 so far this morning. Nasdaq still at lows. Testing it. Looking at 950 below us, and I'm looking at 75 above us. There's the low break again on the Nasdaq, still driving down. Hey, thank you, Lee. I appreciate the donation, brother. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Lee for the donation, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. UCB raised the U.S. recession chance to 95%. Where? 95%. I mean, we might enter a recession, but I don't think it's anywhere near that probable. Maybe. All right, Nasdaq broke lows again. Then look at this big sharp rebound back up. Look at this rebound here. So we'll see if it holds, but Nasdaq definitely trending negatively. Bitcoin down a little bit over the last 10, 15, 20 minutes as well. Gold sideways, choppy. Netflix down, Tesla's down, Nvidia's down. Look at this rebound here. There's 975. Look at this level. Yep. And you should do stem cells in your knee. Well, I'm not thinking about stem cells right now. Right now I'm thinking about plasma. You know. So at this point I'm thinking about plasma. Or my meniscus. Alright, there's 975s. Why are we dropping? Isn't there CPI tomorrow? Yeah, there's CPI tomorrow. The president also has an announcement scheduled for 3 o'clock Eastern time today. We do have a presidential announcement 3 o'clock Eastern time today. You know, we'll see what that means. I don't know if we really got an update on it. Let me see if I can dig deeper, see if we got anything going on. Look at the 975 reaction here. Again, find levels like this, it's easy to kind of pinpoint where we might react, bounce. Yeah, I'm looking here. Government's still shut down. Today's day 23. Crude oil jumping over 3% in pre-market, escalating geopolitical risk related to the U.S. sanctions against Russia, injecting significant supply risk to premiums in the oil market. What we're seeing for oil. That's why oil's up. I don't think we get jobless claims in 21. I think we already kind of saw some of them, but I don't think jobless claims are going to come out. We don't have the necessary people to file it. Jobless claims are done by the Department of Labor. Yeah, the last jobless claims we got was September 25th. Still get statewide data though, but what would you say with all the geopolitical tension that gold and silver, for example, would rally at the open? I mean, that's possible. I don't know for sure what gold and silver is going to do. They've been up and down big amounts. Slightly green on the day for gold and silver, but it doesn't mean they're going to run at the open. What runs and doesn't run at the open is super hard to predict. Report is a one-off. Jobless claims, Yowzer? No, I don't think jobless claims are coming out today. Who's heard jobless claims are coming out today? I feel like we would have got an announcement for it. The official government report on jobless claims is not being released today. Official national release is postponed indefinitely till the gov reopens. Like basically researchers are turning into process of piecing it together. But I don't think we're getting jobless claims today. Spiritual trading. Why do you think jobless claims are coming out today? They're doing CPI tomorrow for Social Security adjustments. That's tomorrow at 8:30. Today would be jobless claims unemployment. We're not getting that today. They do CPI tomorrow. It's been rescheduled to tomorrow, October 24th at 8:30. We're getting that tomorrow. Jobless claims. They're only what they said is that they're only releasing CPI, and they're doing it because they need to gauge Social Security increases from inflation. They are not releasing anything else, from my understanding, not until the government reopens. Yeah, I mean, we don't have... It's scheduled where? What's your source? We'll see. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. If it is coming out, we'll cover it. All right. We'll watch the sources and the. But it is coming out. We'll cover it. Government shut down. Yeah. Again, Redfin reported mortgage rates dropped to almost 3-year lows. China Commerce Minister says EU sanctions on Chinese firms violate consensus between leaders, damage trade relations. They said we will take necessary measures to safeguard rights and again, I asked what the announcement might be here. AI said there's a couple different potential talks that the president could be, having today at 3 p.m. One of them could be government shutdown, most likely. Shutdown's now threatening November SNAP benefits, which is kind of a big crisis point that people are talking about. Remember, the last shutdown was in December and January. The longest shutdown on record was in December and January in 2018, 2019. And so by then, because it's much later in the year, they had already gotten a lot of the deals done that they needed to get done. And then it was Christmas holiday and they just weren't as worried about it because they had already gotten a lot of the deals done. It wasn't as urgent as this one. This one is now the longest full shutdown, meaning they haven't gotten any of these deals done. It was supposed to be before September 30th. None of those things are done now. And so now we're risking running out of all these different things like SNAP benefits, layoffs are going to happen, and more. And so hopefully they figure this out. Again, I'm kind of selfish with it. I would love the government to resume just so I could start covering more economic data because I get bored now. There's not as much to cover. Bored. It'll happen eventually. I'm just waiting. But yeah, maybe he's going to talk about that. He also could be talking about China follow-up. Following the new sanctions on Russian oil companies and the president's threat of 155% tariffs, he might issue a formal document or order detailing the scope and application of the new tariffs. That's possible. I don't think it's going to positively affect markets. I think it's probably going to freak markets out if he does what I just said. Maybe not. We'll see. He could have new Russia and Ukraine sanctions. Or Russian sanctions, really. Tomorrow, we have big news. Tomorrow, we have CPI inflation data. So that's big. Today, the news is Tesla earnings, markets reacting negatively to Tesla, markets reacting negatively to Netflix. NASDAQ is down under 25,000, pulling back. NVIDIA's under 180. Netflix had earnings, missed EPS. Tesla had earnings, missed EPS. Both of them are down pretty significantly in decent percentages from their earnings reports. Tesla was yesterday afternoon, and then Netflix was the day before. And markets have not liked that at all. They have not reacted favorably to tech earnings. I think this all leads to kind of a really important, potentially breaking point in the market, which is NVIDIA earnings in a couple weeks. NVIDIA is going to release earnings in a couple weeks. Next week, we got Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta earnings. And then NVIDIA's earnings are going to be either the week after that. That is a pretty big leading point to markets. If NVIDIA misses like Tesla, Netflix have, we might get a much bigger market reaction. And so I think that's something you probably want to watch here, guys, just based off of the risks of that happening. I'm not saying that's going to happen. And I think, I think NVIDIA is certainly doing pretty well as a company total. But there's always potential headwinds from that stuff, so just be careful. CPI's tomorrow, Martin. John the Bear? I'm not even really bearish. I'm pretty neutral on all of it. I'm just telling you guys risks, right? And I think you guys would probably want me to tell you guys like the risk of things. That's a risk. Now, we got a lot of other dynamics going on in markets. Like we got the China stuff going on. We've got the government shutdown right now. And so, you know, I think we've got a little bit more things pushing the market down. But maybe those things settle. I don't know. Yeah, no guidance for those companies. Home sales today? Home sales? I don't know. I think home sales already came out, actually. Make sure. I'm showing home sales showed up at... Oh, no, they're not. I don't see them. Existing home sales. We'll cover that. Got Barr speaking at in 30. Well, we'll cover home sales. It's something. It's at 10 a.m. though. What is this? Yeah, at 10 a.m. Yeah, again, we're still testing this low. We're kind of slowing down here. Nvidia, again, Nvidia under 179.50s now. Tesla at 421. Gold up on the day still, but trending down with everything else. Taiwan Semi and Lockheed Martin gave positive guidance and still crashed down. Yeah, again, I think there's a little bit more pessimism in markets right now. Super high valuation fears, all that stuff. I think that's really weighing on earnings. Yeah, again, we were supposed to get the Chicago Fed September National Activity Index at 8:30. It's delayed due to the shutdown. Jobless claims are delayed due to the government shutdown. Nasdaq just fell under 950s. Look at that. Nasdaq under 950s. China urges European Union to stop sanctions against Chinese firms. Pressure. Look at Nvidia, guys. Nvidia down to 179s. I think they're kind of caught in the crossfire of all this stuff as well. You know, gold almost going red on the day now. No, I like 950. I think the momentum. Look at these candles. I think it's just big candles. The same thing with this level. Like 975 was still a level. We just had such a big candle that it just didn't respect it. It has to do with Nvidia dropping and Netflix. Let me see. This is such a big drop right now. Yeah, look, there's 950. You can see we at least respect it a little bit because that's where we pivoted back to. Look at that. Doesn't mean it's going to hold. It might go back above it, but you can see the market looks at it. That's all I care about. We might not hold any given test. Gold testing the actual red to green level now. Gold's about to go red on the day. Gold is now technically red on the day. It might retrace back up, but getting balled back up here. %3 SPY dumpage tomorrow, maybe, man. I mean, depends on what we show up as. It's expected at 3.1%, 3.1% for core and headline, which is high. I do think it could be good or bad. I mean, it's easier to come in lower since it's such a high expectation, or maybe we show up higher, which is really bad. Yeah, everybody said it would be Uptober this month, and honestly, that's not what we're seeing. Meta's down, Microsoft's down, AMD's down, Nvidia down, Tesla down. Tesla's rebounding a little bit here, though. Will we get jobless claims today? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Flat. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, looking at things, Nasdaq started off October at where were we at October 1st? We started off October at like, what is this? Let me make sure this is right. Yeah, we started off October about 24,940, so we're almost exactly even. So yeah, October opened up specifically. If we're looking at it specifically here, October opened up at 24,800 to be exact. 24,800. We're a little bit over that, so technically we're actually a little green in October. Technically, we're pretty flat though. It's not really super or anything. Gold still red on the day now, back under the previous close for gold. If you look at it here, look at gold break. If I put up previous closing price, you'll kind of see what I'm saying here. This light blue line, previous closing gold. CPI's tomorrow 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, I mean, if I do get a plasma shot, it's going to be like my meniscus has a small tear in it, but it's probably a pre-existing tear, the doctor thinks, because my meniscus really doesn't hurt at all. It hadn't hurt this whole time. And I skateboarded a lot when I was young. I used to jump off like 5 stairs, 6 stairs, like more sometimes. Skateboard a lot when I was young. I also do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I have for years. And so it's certainly possible somewhere along there I tore my knee, my meniscus, didn't realize it, let it heal, and then I went back to normal. My knees have never felt unstable though, ironically. But basically the only way I'll do plasma is if my doctor said, because where the MCL is, plasma's not going to help it. Really, not really. I'm already doing BPC 157 or whatever that is, which is supposed to heal my ligaments faster. But if my meniscus starts bothering me, he said, then we'll consider plasma. Anyways, we're back up. Let's watch 975. Nasdaq's starting to get a little rebound up here in markets. Play the sax. All right, I'm up to 24,960 Nasdaq. Yeah, and I went to the doctor yesterday. He unlocked my brace. He said my MCL's healing fast. That I can bend it normally now. You know? Had to go easy, but kind of start to read it normally now. No, jobless claims are not today. Government's closed, guys. Jobless claims is released by a government entity, and the government is now closed. The only government data they're releasing until the government resumes, according to them, as of now, it might change, but as of now, is CPI inflation data tomorrow at 8:30. All right, gold bouncing back up now, technically green on the day. Kind of fished under this 950 level, and now we're back up some. All right, we're at 41.21 for gold. Again, we're gonna trade today. I just haven't found any setups I really liked. It's been a really green few days, so I don't want to like rush my trading. I might try 975 if we get back up there, at least for like an initial short-term like scalping reaction. I might take like 1 or 2 micros, maybe add more to it. We are starting to see a pop back up here. Dow says recent monetary policy shifts in the start of rate cutting cycle could start to more passively influence demand via their conference call. I don't want to miss this trade, but I'm looking. Yeah, I looked the other way for just a second. We got up to 973s. It might be too late. I was looking to maybe short this. It just got close to it. It got up to 973s or 970, not quite 975 up here. It's all right, but kind of missed it. Look at gold. Gold's ripping back up. It's at 41.20 now. Did I miss the short? Oh wait, there's my level here. Oh crap. Oh my gosh, dude. Terrible. Like my main. I did jump in the short. I don't know which account here. I'll have to... That one, okay. That one. I will add a little bit more if we retest. I wanted 975 and I just kind of missed, dude. Like, look, here's 975, the level I was talking about. I just missed it. I would have been up a lot more. I wanted 2 up there too. Just didn't get it. We already got the initial, like, good reaction from it. So we'll be pretty risk averse if we go up. Nvidia's starting to rise back up. That's one of the problems here. He did break a downward trend structure a little bit here, so, but it does also kind of look like, oh, I'll be patient with very small. We'll add more if we go green. Great, actually. Okay. There we go. Could cut that right there. Should have maybe added more. See, 975. Here's 950. What up, dude? Buddy. Good day, buddy. Look at gold rip here, guys. Wow. Love you, bud. Have a good day, man. All right. Love you, man. Definitely top 3. Yeah, gold all the way back up here. Here's 950 bounce too. It might continue down though. Maybe a little bounce and then drop again. The big red candle. I'm looking to see if we have any news to cause this. I don't really see any news. Gold's pushing up. Nasdaq's down. This looks like Nvidia going downward. We did have Canadian retail sales at 8:30. I don't think Canadian retail sales are moving things. I don't really see any jobless claims release here either. And so yeah, I don't really see any jobless claims release. Canadian retail sales showed up at 1%. They expected 1%. So as expected, Canadian retail sales core, excluding autos, showed up at 0.7 versus 1 point weaker. There's a drop. Nasdaq falling down. Nvidia falling down here. Go back up to 41.35s. Again, guys, where did we stop? I'm kind of like a broken record with this, but it's so easy to predict this stuff. Like, look, every level's not going to work, but 975, man. That's where we wanted to short it. We didn't really. I'm kind of bummed because I wanted a larger position, but it went up here so quickly, and I didn't trust the retest, like I always say. So Video bouncing quick. This. Try. We'll add a little bit more to this. We have 2 contracts here. Maybe being a little greedy with this one. I just want to see if we come back down here. Got a little cushion, so I can take a little bit more risk with this. I'm gonna add one more and see if we pop back down. But here we go. A little heavy. So we added a little bit to this, or it took a little bit off here. That'll give me a little bit more room. Use plenty. Another one off. Be a little bit looser with the rest of this because we can. There we go. Add a little bit to this. Stays heavy. Go. Half off. There we go. Nice. Got it right there. All right, we're out. Got the rejection. We would have, if I would have stayed in full size, we would have made more, but risk management. I don't know why it's been easy to make money lately. I think the market's just had so much volatility. Trends are easy to catch. Yeah, gold's wild, man. Yeah, looking at our poll, does the U.S. get a deal done with China before November 1st? 55% say no. 45% they said yes. U.S. national debt breaks above 38 trillion for the first time ever. Now we're testing lows again here. I mean, it depends on which time frame we're looking at for downward trend. I would say, like, if you look back at what we've been doing since 5:30 this morning, I would say this looks pretty trend, like, yeah, right? Or we draw a trend this way. Depends on what you call a trend. Depends on the time frame. A lot of the time, like I told you this morning, I'm looking at like a 5-minute chart a lot of the time on my end. I'll show you guys a 1-minute chart, but I'm looking at it like a 5-minute half the time. Warm up deal, maybe. Yeah, I hope we get something done. Realistically, I do. Yeah, so the only federal economic report granted a special exemption by the Bureau of Labor Statistics is CPI, which is tomorrow. No jobless claims today, you know. I wish we did. I hope we would get data like that. Jobless claims is one of the more relevant data releases because it is more real time. You look at unemployment rate, you look at all that stuff. A lot of the time it's for the previous month. Jobless claims is a week-to-week report. So it's a pretty crucial part of the data here. I think you could probably argue at the very least giving us jobless claims. But nope, nothing yet for a month now. Basically, 3.5 weeks. I don't know if the Nasdaq's dragging quantum down, or if quantum was just ridiculous priced and corrected. Gold's still moving up, 41.35s here. Again, Tesla's still down, Netflix still down, Nvidia's still down on the day. Nvidia's getting closer to 179s. Yeah, there's jobless claims. Like some people have compiled state data for jobless claims, so like again, gold edging higher here. Honeywell CEO expects to make an aerospace leadership and HQ announcement later this year. We had the New York Fed repo demand $3 billion. Compiled regular state data, excluding claims filed by federal workers, have not shown a sharp or recessionary spike in layoffs. The continued claim trend for non-federal workers is described as quote up slightly, showing modest overall year-over-year increases, but this is not considered alarming. Claims filed by furloughed federal civilian employees have seen a massive surge, reaching levels more than double what they were a year ago, but this is obviously from shutdown specifically. Yeah. Gold up to 41.40s, guys. Nasdaq bouncing back to 950. Quantum will solve the coming energy crisis. Maybe, bro. Maybe not. Still early. Heineken CFO says they are aiming for capex of 7 to 8% of net revenue. Okay, so we do have some data here. No official data. These are unadjusted figures and latest available compiled unadjusted figures. Compiled state data. We showed October 11th, week ending October 11th, private sector claims remain stable or low at 207,300. And that's for private sector, so not the government, right? And because the government's in a shutdown right now, those numbers are going to be skewed. You know, so like those numbers are going to be skewed since the government's shut down right now, and furloughed and layoffs and all the stuff going on. But obviously, claims filed by gov sources are up. All right, the president said. President speaking right now. That if an annexation of the West Bank happens, yeah, he's basically talking about monetary policy, or not monetary policy. He's talking about geopolitical stuff in the Middle East. Yeah, the president also said he's in talks with multiple different quantum companies to take a stake in the company. So we'll see how that goes. All right, NASDAQ back up over 950. I'm still watching 975. I don't trust the retest of it quite as much. You know, the 975 retest, I don't trust it quite as much. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Look, if you want to learn to day trade, most day traders lose. If you fund your own account thousands of dollars, you're probably going to lose it. Most day traders lose money. Let's just be honest here. And so why fund thousands of dollars into your account just to probably lose it? Try Top Step. They give you a 50K demo. It tests your skill. That's your risk. It's $50 for the base one. There's also a $100 one, $150 one a month. If you pass the test on the $50 one, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. And you get to keep your first 10K prior to that split kicking in. That's pretty similar to funding your own account. If you fail, you lose $50, so your risk is still less. It makes sense to learn that way. You're risking something. You're learning to trade with risk. It's not just a base paper account, but it's something. And it's just a cheaper way to learn how to trade. There's no PDT in future, so it gets you around the PDT rule, and it just limits your risk. And again, they also have their back to funded option, which now lets you reset funded accounts with the same rules as normal funded accounts. And so you don't have to try so hard to get funded or whatever now. If you want to just go right back to it, you can. And just a lot of other really cool stuff. They're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. Here's understand all this stuff on screen. I'm biased, of course. Genuinely useful for traders, though. Just genuinely useful. I'll put this link up. Great way to help support the channel. And just genuinely useful. Genuinely useful. Here's the link right here. I'll pin it to the top of the chat. Not an investment professional, but I like using it. Learn without the burn. Yeah, so the president is mostly speaking today. I'm assuming his announcement at 3 p.m. today is mostly going to be about Middle Eastern stuff. All right, look at us back up to 975. Again, I don't like this one as much. It might reject, especially if the market starts trading sideways into the open. But I just don't like this one as much. I've already attacked this short. I don't really want to jump on it again. Oh. I'm trading futures right now, James. I'm trading indices or indexes. I like saying I know indices is the plural form of indexes, but I like trading indices. Indices, gold. Be a man. Blow your own account. Yeah, bro. Only wimps don't lose thousands of dollars trying to look cool, bro. All right, guys. NASDAQ back up. Let's see if it holds. American Airlines says while premium continued to outperform main cabin, I've seen improvements in main cabin since low point in July. Gold dipping down a little bit now. Yeah, the CPI numbers tomorrow for sure. we'll see if we trend sideways or what happens here. All right, so the Trump administration is raising the tariff rate quota for Argentina to 80,000 metric tons of beef to reduce prices, according to the White House. Yeah, gold. It's almost 4140s. Nvidia is also kind of chopping in a range here, which has been driving some. I mean, Nvidia, Netflix, and Tesla, one of the big blue chip Mag 7 that are going to be influencing the market. Yeah, again, I like I said, I don't really like the retest of 975. I'm looking at 25K. I think 25K might be a level here. Like we're dropping 25K, maybe a continuation. We also have the 200 exponential up there. Or we could just do a, shaped reversal here as well. I mean, any of this stuff could happen. But yeah, I'm looking at 25,000. I think 25,000 is a big psychological level on the NASDAQ. Netflix, I mean, I like Netflix long term. I think they'll probably split sometime, even with these drops. I think Netflix will probably split sometime. Maybe they might have more mounting pressure to split now that they're cheaper and they need more buyers, and so I think they may split sometime in the next year or two. Long term, I'm bullish on Netflix. Short term, I don't know what they're gonna. I do think there's a little bit of risk with it, though. I think Netflix, there's, it's a streaming services and they can fluctuate. They're pretty big though for Netflix, but I don't think they're necessarily immune to like big fluctuations. Okay. All right, we're back up over 975 here. Again, let's watch 25,000 even. I think 25,000 even is a big level. Gold still moving up, looks pretty strong. Nvidia at 179.70s. And if they found that much gold, the price of gold would probably decrease. Supply and demand reason. Gold up to 45s now. NASDAQ still pushing higher here. Yeah, the $83 billion gold discovery in China at one of the Wanggu gold field is one of the largest finds in history. Yes, eventually gold probably will go down. Bro, let me walk into $83 billion worth of gold. Why can't that ever happen to me, man? Tomorrow I'm gonna walk into 84 billion. Gold. It'll be in my backyard under the pine tree. Nvidia back up to 179.70, so we're seeing a rebound in Nvidia. Yeah, but the gold was found in November of last year, right? And late last year was when they found that gold. Why do we put value in gold? Well, because gold is one of the more time-tested, you know, assets of value. One of the more time-tested currencies. One of the original currencies. We use gold. There's utility for it. But again, I've said it once. I'll say it again. You got some people that are like, yeah, if the world goes crazy and stuff hits the fan, gold's gonna go up. And it depends on the context. If we're talking about a little crazy, like macroeconomic stuff, geopolitical stuff, that's one thing. If we're talking about like martial law, gold's a shiny rock. It's not gonna do anything. Nobody's gonna care about gold in that situation. They're gonna care about food and medicine stuff. You know. So gold is good to a certain extent, and I like it, and it'll probably go up a long time. It's one of the more time tested and got it, one of the longest backlogs of, you know, appreciation. But the utility, I mean, we use gold for a lot of stuff, don't get me wrong. But I think we actually use silver more. And I think if we're talking about AI and tech and hardware and stuff like that, gold's useful. Yeah, Netflix, IBM, and Tesla all down on earnings. Again, we're almost up to 25,000. I don't know if I want to short this or not. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little piece. $25 even. Maybe it's still trying to push up, though. That's the only reason I might not like this as much. We got the 200 exponential right above us here. All right, we're at 25K. Go. I did short a piece here. Let me show you guys what you can. Yes. Okay. Did short a piece here. We already took most of the profit and we're green, and so we'll just let the last two ride. It's not gonna be a long-term trade, and if we rip up over this, I'm just gonna cut it. Hoping that 200 exponential holds. We dip down under 25K again and stay under it. There we go. A little bit more off here. Go. Probably let the rest sit. Go. I'm gonna cut this. It's taking too long. I mean, I'm very green on the trade. You know, we just made some money, and it might keep going down. But really, I shorted it up here. Held. That's all right. We're still green on every account we've traded today, but. Yeah, we're under 25,000. I think that's a stubborn level. I also think Nvidia is coming back down a little bit, but give me cutting it there was the right decision. I don't want it to retest this and make it over and then hold support over 25K and hold support at the 200 exponential. That's why I cut it there. It might continue down, but pretty strong the last few minutes. Tesla bounces back. What's the time frame? How long? It's down. Yeah, look, there's the big rebound. Okay. I feel better about cutting it right there for sure. Look at that move. All right, so Chinese state oil majors been. Chinese state oil majors suspend seaborne Russian oil purchases. Concerns about Western sanctions, according to sources. Rivian is also going to lay off about 600 workers at EV pullback. Yeah, there we go. It did exactly what I said I was worried about. So that gives me a little confidence in that exit. It pushed over the 200 exponential, pulled back to that level, and bounced. Good. Got out. Yeah, I'm sure trading gold's kind of stressful. It moves. Gold moves, and there's a spread, and it's just a little bit harder to trade for me. Like, I still trade gold, and I think there's been a lot of edge on the upside with gold recently. I mean, like in the last few months, with gold pushing up as much as it has since really like August. But the last few days, we've seen negative reactions here. Really weird. I'm not used to bending my leg at all. Not used to bending my leg. Feels very strange. Yeah, CPI inflation data tomorrow. It's now past 9 a.m. Big drop. Let's see if 25,000 holds up though now. 25K right here. Okay, we're still kind of battling 25,000, so my hands are kind of off at this point. Yeah, so again, Chinese national oil companies PetroChina, Sinopec, and CNOOC and others will refrain from dealing in seaborne Russian oil, at least in the short term, due to concerns over the U.S. sanctions. Amazon also introduced new AI shopping tool for hesitant buyers. I'm surprised Amazon is back up after the 20th, man. Markets... Amazon had the AWS issues, and it widely affected things. And they ended up going up the last few days, although they did come back down the last day or two. They trying to short gold yesterday. Yeah, I mean, that's a risky thing. Again, it's not something I'm going to do. I told people before, I'm not really shorting. I'm not really interested in shorting gold right now. It's too close to all-time highs. It's been on too big of a run. You might have an edge. Maybe you're better than me at trading gold. I just don't want to do that. I'm not going to mess with it. All right, guys. We did bounce at 25,000, which is what I was worried about. Well, I haven't bit my leg in two weeks prior to yesterday. Like I could bend it up to 60 degrees, kind of like, which means it was really hard for me to even like put my foot on. All right, Nasdaq still bouncing at 25,000. Finally, when he unlocked the knee brace yesterday, I could bend it all the way. Felt very strange, very strange. Again, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Rookie of the Year. You know, when he's in the hospital, or he's in the doctor's office and they're taking off his cast of his arm, and he bends his arm and it makes that noise. That's what it felt like. Some of you guys know the movie. It's an old movie, so half you guys probably haven't seen it. Maybe that's what'll happen to my leg, and I'll just be a Muay Thai master next. I can hope, you know. The floater. Floaters still strike people out. It's not the... They don't really give them the classic underhand floater in baseball, but they still strike pros out. All right, we're at 25,000 here. 25,000. All right, guys, look at Nvidia here. Look at this red in Nvidia, guys. Whoa, look at this drop. Look at Nvidia. Dropping Nvidia right now. Let me see. This has got to be catalyst related, right? Horizon. Dropping Nvidia, and then it retraced half of it. It looks catalyst driven. Got to be maybe overseas stuff going on, no? If you guys see it before I do, let me know. Rivian to lay off 600 workers. Saw that. Saw the Chinese state oil major suspending Russian oil purchases. Seems to just be Nvidia related here. Yeah, I don't really see any news on all the different sources. Drop though, it's got to be catalyst. AMD doing? AMD's down as well. Gold's moving up. Yes, Monty, that's correct. The right movie. That's the old school movie. Gold, guys, look at gold here with all the stuff going on. 4150s, Nvidia down, gold up, AMD down. Yesterday was wild, dude, just based off of... Yeah, maybe it's not catalyst driven, I don't know. It's a big candle all randomly though. Nasdaq's still falling here. Netflix. This one's up a little. Alright, so look at this momentum coming back on the downside. Volume spike with this. Yes. Okay, yeah, this had to be catalyst driven. Like, look at this. You guys see this? Let me make sure. Yeah. Okay. Look at this. Look at the volume show up. Right here. Something happened. 100 and something thousand shares going through in a minute. Something happened. For micro? Oh, it is Supermicro, maybe. Supermicro did dump hard. Let's see what the news is. Supermicro, okay, here it is. We have first quarter results for Supermicro this morning. Okay, so Supermicro provides first quarter business update. Yeah, this is Supermicro related. Okay, Supermicro is seeing outstanding levels of customer agreements for newly released AI liquid-cooled solutions, along with numerous customer ramping large multi-quarter volume deployments. President CEO said, we see a customer demand. They secured $12 billion in orders for quarter two, say design win upgrades push from expected quarter 126 revenue to quarter two. They're seeing something in this report they don't like, though. I don't know why they decided to drop this early. Earnings are scheduled for November 4th. So this is basically them getting a large new order. 2026. They see strong demand for Blackwell Ultra. Whatever it is, Supermicro is the catalyst here. Dropping markets. Look at the NASDAQ fall. Watch 950 here, but I knew it was something going on. Like, you don't get that much volume randomly. I mean, you do, but it's much more rare. Okay, this is what happened. They said design win upgrades push some expected quarter one next year revenue to quarter two, resulting in an estimated revenue for quarter one of $5 billion versus $6 to $7 billion guidance. This is the sentence that's making them drop right now. Their quarter one guidance is now reduced about $1 billion from $6 billion to $5 billion is what caused this. And again, this is dragged down NVIDIA, AMD, short term. NASDAQ is testing lows of the day again. Yeah, and if you look at what time this happened, this is okay. So kind of see this drop started at 8:05. NVIDIA drop started when 8:05. So yeah, this is what's when you see movements like this again. You just got to look at volume, guys. You might say nothing's going on, something's going on. Look at the volume, volume, spike, right? That happening randomly at 8:05 or 8:06. It usually means there's a catalyst that came out influence. All right, we're at 950 now. AI, yeah, it's microchips. It's super micro semiconductors, SMCI, that dropped. IBM is not doing good either. IBM's cracking lows and driving down the market too. That's probably one of the reasons. Oh, look at IBM. Here's NVIDIA. Here's IBM right now. But IBM fall. It's definitely negatively. Like tech is getting dragged down a little bit. Yeah, we got existing home sales report coming in. I'm pretty sure it drops. Let me make sure. All right, there's a rebound. All right, we're at 975s now. We got about 15 minutes. Because it's a reflection of microchips, pew pew, regardless of how big the company is. Traders look at it as a reflection of microchip strength or weakness. And so that's all this is. Like, regardless how big the company is, they work with NVIDIA, they work with chips, they work with AI. And, you know, people just see that as a reflection of it. Yeah, well, lucky when I start day trading stocks here, people hear the toss notifications and they think it's them. What's up, Tiny? Or no? Oh, I'm in top chat. I'm not in live chat. So if I'm missing half of your comments, yeah, I saw that Jeep. Sorry, I'm missing half of your comments. I've been in top chat versus live chat. Yeah, existing home sales, I'm pretty sure drops. Let me make sure. Yes, existing home sales will drop at 10 a.m. It's not a federal government release. It's released by the National Association of Realtors. New home sales are delayed because of they're the U.S. Census Bureau. But NAR is releasing the data today, yeah, for existing home sales. We'll cover it at 10 o'clock in like 45 minutes. All right. At least we get CPI data tomorrow. Gold pulling back a little bit now. Look at gold. Hit 4150s though, big psychological level. Tesla's still fighting his way back up. Again, I think one of the risks in markets right now, chat, is with a lot of big tech missing earnings, reacting negatively, dropping significantly from their earnings reports. And this includes IBM, down big on the day, down at 263s, at 280s. Prior to this, IBM down big percentages, Tesla down big percentages, Netflix down big percentages from their earnings report. Now, next week, we got Apple, Amazon, Meta, Google, and more. The biggest risk is if we see continued drops in big tech next week. That leads us into NVIDIA earnings. And NVIDIA is kind of the king of tech right now. And so if we see a similar reaction to NVIDIA, and NVIDIA is already kind of negatively reacting just to sympathy movement from tech right now. Obviously, NVIDIA reacted to Supermicro. If NVIDIA has a similar report to some of these other big names that we're seeing this week, that can cause problems in markets. I'm not saying that's going to happen. NVIDIA is a little bit more healthy as a company in terms of income, revenue, and stuff like that. But there's always risk of that. And so again, I think it's one of the risks we could see. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's one of the risks we could see. Be careful. I'm going to be paying close attention to next week's earnings as well. Supermicro basically just rebounded all the way back up as well from the big drops it put in. Yeah. Yeah, gold rebounding for sure. Gotta pull up Discord. Yeah, so Pawn just sent me, that's apparently Samson Pawn, but you can kind of see, this is from Bloomberg apparently. But like you can kind of see NVIDIA's right here in the center. You got OpenAI, you got AMD, kind of, you know, you got, or this actually backwards, but you got Microsoft. You got CoreWeave, Nvidia to Intel, Oracle to Nvidia, OpenAI to Oracle, XAI to Nvidia, Figure AI to Nvidia, more. So you can kind of see how everything centers around Nvidia, and that's what I'm saying. If we get weakness in earnings from tech, Nvidia is what I want to pay attention to. So just be careful. IBM's still dropping right now. Look at IBM. 262s right now. Nasdaq's not really reacting the most to it. Gold still ripping up. 4160. So. I guess we got about 10 minutes until the market opens. 10 minutes. Yeah, so Super Micro missed prelim sales. Quarter one net sales 5 versus 5 billion expected. Yeah, one of the big news stories this morning was that Chinese state oil majors suspended Russian oil purchases over fears of the U.S. sanctions. So if you look at oil, oil's been doing really good today, up to over 61s. 10 minutes. Market's been kind of wild and kind of whippy today, though. Just be careful. I'm green. We got a cushion into the opening bell. That's good. But yeah, I don't think a small correction is bad for markets right now. I think they kind of need it. I think it might calm some of the fear that we have on right now about overvaluations in technology stocks and just public securities. I think a small correction might be good. Like a small, like when I say small, what I mean is honestly like a 10% correction. You know, I don't want a 20 or 30, but a 10% correction might, and then stabilizing might be a good thing. I'm not saying that should happen, I'm definitely not saying it's going to happen. Yeah, just be careful. Remember, guys, not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. We'll do our best to trade today. Gold's still elevated. Look at this. Gold's still pushing. Of a correction because I'm just going to buy more. Yeah, I mean, dollar cost averaging usually isn't a bad move. I'm not saying it should do it, but all right, Nasdaq testing 25,000 again. Nasdaq over 25K. Southwest CEO says he's not concerned about the economy. Situation is looking good into quarter four on CNBC. If the shutdown continues, could see impact on sectors adjacent to the government. Yeah, I mean, this 25 level is tested a lot for a big whole dollar number here. I would assume we stay over and under it, but I think the market is just showing a little apprehension today. We're still in the government shutdown. We got CPI inflation data tomorrow. The president's supposed to speak at 3 o'clock today. So all of that stuff could move markets. I think people are just a little nervous, man. I would like to hope they get a deal done. If we take a look at the shutdown odds here on two different markets, one of them has the government shutdown currently priced in at 42 days. So 42 days. 76% of people think it's going to be the longest shutdown on record at 35 plus days. 53% of people think it's going to be over 40 days. 45 days has 38% of people betting on it. And so that's one source. You can look at like Polymarket as well here. Polymarket has it. Most of the people are betting on at least November 16th plus. 39% of people. But yeah, most people still think it's going to be the longest shutdown. But then there's another poll that says, will the government shutdown end before October 31st? 20% of people say yes. Gives you 4-to-1 odds, but all right, guys. We got about 4 minutes until the market opens. Hopefully, we'll get some good stuff. We got existing home sales at 10 a.m. See if that moves in. Netflix actually just bounced back a little bit, though. So, I think if you look at Netflix, one of the initial catalysts is downward pressure. Netflix is up to 11.24 right now, so it's bouncing back a little bit here into the opening bell, and so. All right, gold up to 41.64s. Still pushing. Kind of moving with the NASDAQ now. Look at gold here. Three minutes. Netflix is bouncing back into 11.26 now. Look at this. Here's 25,000 level here. It's just kind of choppy right now. Sideways in range, but that's 25,000. So we're over it again. All right, we're up to 11.28. All right, guys, 1 minute left. hit the live button next to the play button, put it in 2x speed. We'll catch up to the stream. We appreciate it. 1 minute left. We are going to be day trading here. We're green on both accounts, or 2 accounts that we've traded today at least, which is good. We'll see if we continue. We're actually green net on all of these accounts. All 4 of them. We also have 2, I think, that are ready to be activated here. So we're over 25,000 now and really kind of confirming it. It doesn't mean anything because the opening bell's in less than a minute, so just be careful. Hey, I appreciate you guys joining me though. Like, we don't have any government data to cover like we normally do, except for tomorrow. But we still got almost 1,000 people here at the open, so I appreciate you guys. You know, the government data will be back eventually. We still got pretty good numbers while it's not. So tomorrow CPI data will be fun. That looks like, but 20 seconds left, 25 seconds. I don't know, Netflix's PE ratio is about 50, but I think one of the bigger reasons people think markets are overvalued is because of high PE ratios on average. S&P PE ratio high on average, so companies are just a little bit higher valued relative to. All right, there's the opening bell. Again, hit the live button next to the play button if that was delayed. You can put it in 2x speed. It'll catch up to the stream. I'm just here to see me whine about my MCO. Listen, that's definitely something you're going to hear, bro. My whole family. Like I said, I've been bugging my whole family about it. Playing sad music. Using my crutches to walk in. You know. Stare at them. Sad. All right, guys. NASDAQ's pushing up. We're at 25. 25s. See if we hold. Again, I see Netflix turn a little bit. I see Tesla drop. Look at Tesla fall at the opening bell. We're at 417s, 418s. Nvidia's pushing back up. It's back over 180s, which I think is an optimistic thing for Nvidia. It was under one. I think 180 is kind of psychological level right here. And so I think it staying over that's good. IBM rebounding a little bit at the opening bell too. IBM up, Nvidia up, Netflix up, Tesla down. All right. Rejecting at 25 here. Let's see if this level at 25 holds. I almost want to buy it. It's so close to the open. I'm going to, but I kind of want to. There's 25. I will try to buy it. There we go. We bought 25. Oh, y'all don't see this account. I think it's this one I'm in. Yeah, there you go. And look at that rebound here. I'm going to cut it right there. Very quick. Very quick. Almost $100. In about, what, 5 seconds? Said 25. Look. One of the things we have here is we have the 200 exponential and 25,000 whole dollar number. I don't ever take trades that early, but when we get a really easy pullback to it, I can take small size and we got a chance of running. Bounce. That's kind of what happened now. Still a little early for me to trade. I'm still gonna probably try to wait before I take anything else. Hey, let's just not argue about politics. Either way, guys, you know. Both of you guys say something nice about the other one. You know. We'll go dad mode. Both of you guys say something kind about the other one. Alright, guys. Gold down to 41.50s. Pulling back a little bit at the open. I'm gonna drop and sexy time. Maybe there isn't an argument. I don't know. You know. It's here for the life lessons. Oh, we give them here. We do here. Hey, see you, Tiny. Have a great day. All right, guys. Look, NASDAQ hasn't really moved that much at the opening bell. We bought the dip at 25,000. We retraced up nicely, very fast. Tesla just went red on the day, though. Look at Tesla break down under this level here. Tesla's now technically red on the day. Nvidia's starting to turn down. Gold has pulled back a little bit since the open. IBM is starting to retrace back down a little bit. Something's propping up the NASDAQ, though. Apple was up, and now it's down. Microsoft. Nope. Most things are down right now. I don't know why the NASDAQ isn't reacting. They're a big tech stop holding the NASDAQ up. It's not Netflix. Not Amazon. Not Meta. All right, Tesla just retraced back up. Hey, John, once the government shutdown ends, do we get all the data at once? So it depends on what you consider at once. It depends on what you consider at once. I think we'll get them scheduled soon after the government opens, but are they all going to come out? Like, is it going to be the government resumes and then all of a sudden we just start getting all this different data that we missed? Probably not. Probably not. And now it depends on who is putting out the data and their routine of that. But most likely what we'll get is the government will resume. The source will say, hey, we're going to release the data on X day, and then it's going to come out on X day. Now maybe some of them will be simultaneous, releasing on the same day. I don't know, but Nvidia just tested lows back under 180. Tesla's still red on the day. NASDAQ's pushing up. What stocks are driving the NASDAQ up, though? Meta. Meta is testing highs of the day. Google's rebounding a little bit. Microsoft's still down. AMD's green since the open. Isn't Beyond Meat down 50% since yesterday? Yeah, it's down from $8.80 to $3. It's more than 50. Down like 60 something. Meta just broke highs of the day up to 737s. AMD just broke highs at the open as well. Now green. Yeah, Amazon's pushing back up too. So we're seeing a rebound in tech. Except for Nvidia though. Nvidia's still low. Tesla's still low. I don't know why I got too many levels right here. Yeah. Got one right. 70. There it is. Yeah, so Tesla's starting to fight back a little bit. Gold's still coming down. All right, there's the NASDAQ testing that top. NVIDIA did bounce at 180 here. 180 seems to be holding as a level well. NASDAQ's still fighting its way back up here, though. Look at this green. Got a lot of levels up here, though. A little bit not really spaced out enough. See if this level holds before I get it. It kind of hold. Airbus CEO met with China's civil aviation body. I guess I'll keep this level up. I wasn't playing this one. Better. Tesla all the way back to 420. Now, last time I think 420 held support for Tesla there. Hey guys, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out Top Step. Great way to help support the channel. We're green on everything today. So far, 3 funded accounts we're green on. And again, for $50, you can try to get funded. You pass the test, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. You got to make 3K without losing 2K in profit following their rules. If you do that, they fund you 50K, 90% split. If you fail, you lose 50 bucks. The best of both worlds. Limited risk, similar reward to funding your own account. And they pay out millions and fund thousands of traders. Great way to learn how to day trade. Again, they now let you reset funded accounts, a lot of other cool stuff. Some of the most reliable payouts in the game. And I'll put the link up. They're a sponsor of mine. I am biased. I get paid by them. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Here's the link if you want to check them out. Great way to help support the channel. Look at this upward movement we've seen, though. Market kind of needed it. We'll see if it continues, but look at this. Look at that upward movement this morning. Really, since 9-10 market time, we've been putting up. And again, we do have existing home sales. Corey, I'm gonna delete this comment. I don't know what you're saying in that comment, but it's definitely getting deleted, bro. Amazon push it up. We're at 219s. UYND move it up. People are getting all excited about it. It's down 60%. It goes back up. Is it true? Okay, it sounds wild. Either way, I'm deleting it, regardless of whether it's true or not. NVIDIA at 180s. We had anything in the past week drop off good earnings? I mean, define good. Amazon broke big highs up here. NVIDIA just cracked 180s. Tesla falling down a little bit, but JP Morgan expects Fed to end quantitative tightening next week. Okay, so JP Morgan thinks we're going to end QT next week. Wow. That early, huh? U.S. Federal Reserve will print $1.5 trillion following October and November interest rate cuts. According to who? According to who? It says the U.S. Federal Reserve will print $1.5 trillion following October and November interest rate cuts. So they're going to call it quantitative easing. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not saying they don't do that. I don't know if that's a good move. We got existing home sales today. All right, look at the NASDAQ hold at 54s. I delete it. Yeah, I'm trying to see where this guy got the source from that said that the Fed's going to print 1.5 trillion and who said it. See Walter Bloom, or see First Squawk saying it. But I can dig deeper into this. Again, we got existing home sales at 10 and 15 minutes. See this from a couple different sources. NASDAQ still ripping up here. Maybe the market's reacting to this news. I'm not sure. Trying to see the source. Where's the source? All right, guys. Meta's ripping up at 740s. Amazon's ripping up at 220s. Dragging everything higher. Nvidia's bouncing back here. This is a steep upward movement here. Yeah, so AI says the claim of printing 1.5 trillion is sensationalized and technically incorrect. The Fed is not scheduled to start QE or print following the next two rate cuts. Rate cuts do not require asset purchases. It's likely conflating the high probability of further rate cuts with the impending end of QT, but which is not necessarily printing. Printing, quantitative easing, is a very specific thing. It is the Fed basically creates online money and then uses that online money to buy up bonds and MBSs. Expands their balance sheet through those asset purchases. Rate cuts do not equal printing, and I don't know if it could be right. They might be printing, but I gotta see this. Yeah, and a lot of people are saying this is fake. All right, guys. Rejected at 125. We're now back at ones. Yeah, I don't think we should do QE. Yeah, I was reading it by First Squawk on X. I think they kind of it embellished things a little bit is what I think that was. All right, guys, we got 13 minutes until existing home sales. All right, we're testing 125 again. Nvidia back up to almost 181s. It kind of needs a rebound. Really, Meta's still breaking highs. Meta just hit 740. Netflix still coming down, though. Nasdaq just broke highs again. Now effectively the high of the day. We are up to 140, almost 140. Gold pulling back a little bit. I'm going to do another poll here, guys, and I'm curious to see what you guys... I'm waiting to trade this. It's honestly really, really strong. I don't know if this has to do with JP Morgan saying that QT is going to end. I'm okay with ending quantitative tightening, which is ending the reduction of the Fed's balance sheet. The Fed, quantitative tightening is a hawkish monetary policy. It's restrictive. Fed is still ripping up, guys. Look at this. There's 150. Almost. And it's too strong. Quantitative tightening is essentially where it's called passive QT is what the Fed's actually doing, which is a restrictive monetary policy in which the Fed unloads their balance sheet through letting their current holdings mature, like kind of like expire. The maturity date is the date when you get your money back and it's done. They don't directly sell off their balance sheet. Like they don't directly sell bonds into the open market or sell MBSs onto the open market. They instead just let their current holdings run off, and it slowly reduces their balance sheet. Them ending that is a dovish thing, like a less restrictive thing. And again, it's better for houses too. And leading into house prices, you know, they're still doing the same QT they've been doing for years on MBSs, which are mortgage-backed securities. And so, yeah. Man, look at the markets fly up here, dude. What a range. Again, JP Morgan said that they're probably going to end QT this next week. All right, guys, we got existing home sales in eight minutes existing sales. Yeah. I don't really know what to do with this. It's too strong for me to really buy it up. It's up too much. Maybe it continues. I don't necessarily like the edge of it. Made so much money in pre-market. I got to just be careful. We got a little bit of trading at the opening bell, but it was less active. And we're green on everything, so I just don't want to give too much back here. Energy stocks outperforming. Crude oil is still up today. Yeah, JP Morgan expects the Fed to end quantitative tightening next week. Look at IBM. IBM's back up to 76s. Previous closing price is 287.50, so still red. Gold's starting to move up a little bit more. Nvidia at 181.50s. Netflix is still breaking down though. It's almost to 1100s now for Netflix. Tesla is green, 422s. Nasdaq at 157s. Yeah, I mean, the last time Powell spoke, right? Powell essentially said that we would be probably ending quantitative tightening in the next month or two. That was last week, right? So I would say it could be true that the Fed is ending quantitative tightening, next week. I don't think it would be necessarily a bad thing to end quantitative tightening. I think the inflation risks are still there, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad move. And I think it's a way to balance all rate cuts with more dovish policy. As long as we don't actually print, like actually buy up a bunch of bonds and inject liquidity and print money. In terms of the Fed's balance sheet, that is quantitative easing. As long as we don't do that, inflation should be lower risk. It's not nothing. There's definitely some risk still for inflation spiking. But we've also seen pretty weak signs in the labor market. We've seen scary signs in the labor market, and so I think at a certain point that becomes the priority over inflation, and I think that's how most people and economists are going to view this. But we'll see if they're true. We'll see if JP Morgan knows their stuff. Next week's the time test of that, and yeah, it could happen. It could happen. All right, guys, we got existing home sales in 4 minutes. Yeah, 200 right here makes sense to watch too, but I don't really have a level there. I have it at 185. I don't know why. All right, guys, here we go. Home sales. Not really a big market moving thing, but we're going to look at it. Expected at 4.06 million today, 4.06 million. Nasdaq's wild. All right, we're rejecting a little bit. Let's see what the home sales show up as. I think it's relevant right now, especially with it potentially ending quantitative tightening. We're still doing QT on MBSs. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing here. I'm not really interested in buying. It's too steep of a move. Not really any dips. All right, guys, we got about a minute and a half. We'll see what existing home sales shows. Again, 4.06 million is what's expected. Last time was 4 million. All right, guys. Here we go. At least it's some data. All right, guys, 30 seconds. 15 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button if you want to catch up. And I'll see what it shows up as. And here it goes. Data shows up right now. I don't know if it's going to move markets, but let's see. 4.06 million as expected. Existing home sales are up 1.5%. As expected, existing home sales 4.06 million, 1.5% increase. So not really anything major. Nasdaq is going up a little bit though. Look at this. But yeah, 4.06 as expected, up 1.5% for existing home sales. So I will put this up on screen again. Existing home sales 1.5%, 4.06 million, flat essentially everywhere. So not a huge move here. But again, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here. Listen, tomorrow, CPI inflation data. As soon as we close this stream, it's going to bring you there. Check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. We appreciate it. And yeah, I appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love. Tomorrow, a massive stream. Massive stream. Again, I'll put the link for Top Step up one more time. Beautiful way to learn. Most day traders lose. Limit your risk. Most day traders are going to lose regardless of where they go, but this is a way to limit it. Here's the link. Again, as soon as I close this stream, it's going to bring you to the CPI inflation stream tomorrow. Be ready tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream is very big. The first real economic data we've seen in a long time. And so it is the biggest report we've seen in a month now. Be ready. Again, be ready. As soon as we close this stream, it'll bring you there. Y'all be safe. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow, bright and early. Intel earnings after the bell today, by the way, guys. We do have Intel earnings. I'll see you guys over there.